Hello.
Hi. Hi, Rita.
Hi. Um,
Yeah.
oh, great. Hi,
Super.
everyone.
How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Meghna.
I'm good. Hi,
So
everyone
excited.
joining in on Facebook. We are going live in parallel, both on Facebook and Instagram. I'm going to
Yeah.
be talking with Divya on Instagram, and of course, please add your comments, and we'll be answering it on the go.
Super.
I hope everyone can hear me okay and there's no echo. If anyone's joining in on Facebook, please let us know if the volume and the audio is clear.
I'm going to be talking with Divya on Instagram. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we'll wait
So,
for a couple of minutes to just let everyone join in.
yes. Let's
Um,
wait. And why don't you share, about the birth home till everyone joins in
okay.
this new initiative of the city and what our, viewers and members can look forward to. Just a little brief.
Sure. I'm also going to be turning the volume on my phone down on Instagram. So,
Yeah,
there's no echo for anyone joining in
sure,
on Facebook.
sure.
So, if you have anything, you can always just leave us a comment. All right. Very happy to be here on the Ontia page. Divya, one of the people behind Ontia, we've known each other for a while now. Divya has been a massive supporter and a brand ambassador for us at the birth home. The birth home, for those of you who are just getting to know about us, we are a natural birth center and we are midwifery led. What this means is a midwife will be your primary care provider for most of your pregnancy, your birth, and postpartum. We will, of course, be taking any questions that you have. If you want to know more about midwifery care and you want to know more about how you can reach us at the birth home, please do send in a message. All right. I think I would just like to start talking about what we intend to today. It's a hot topic for most new parents. This is usually the first things on your mind. What do I buy? How much money do I spend? We have this deep-seated notion that babies are expensive, and you have to save up and you have to put aside money to take care of a baby. Me and all my co-founders at the birth home, we have a little mantra which we tell all our expectant couples: babies are not expensive. It's us who makes the choices to end up, because we are not sure of what a baby will need. While this may be very, very important and it may have had a lot more relevance maybe 20 years before now or even 10 years before now, that you had to have everything ready for baby before baby came. We're also living in a time where things are easily available, they're just a click away, very likely able to find things in your neighborhood. So, thumb rule is don't buy anything till you absolutely feel the need to when it comes to baby care. I have a little list here that I've made of often discussed things when it comes to buying baby stuff. I'll start with one that is not commonly discussed, nor are we putting enough importance on it. It is buying an infant car seat. So while we are running around trying to buy a lot of different things, it is very, very important to keep your eyes on how are you going to get baby home safe from the hospital or the birth home. Like we know, most countries do have policies where you will not be allowed to take your newborn home if you do not have a certified, installment of your car seat in the car. And yes, this is a policy that doesn't exist in India, but it's very important to think about why is this required. In India, we are also used to a lot more casualty when it comes to driving around in a car. Most adults will also not wear seat belts. I'm also guilty of it, unfortunately. But If just imagine you have a newborn in your lap, and God forbid there has been, a massive, hold up, or you're needing to hit the brakes on the car, you won't be able to safely keep the newborn in your lap or in your arms and also save yourself. This is why it's important to have a properly installed newborn car seat. There are a lot of resources on the net. Quick tips for buying a car seat is, don't buy a pre-loved one unless you are absolutely sure that it hasn't been in a car accident before. This is something we ignore. We want to take the shortcut here, and we are trying to buy pre-loved ones. And I know this because that's exactly what I wanted to do when I was looking for a car seat. I was searching, on all the online forums for pre-loved ones. Thankfully, a few friends reached out to me and said, please don't buy one without ensuring that it hasn't been in a car accident, because that can seriously hamper the functionality. And another kind friend lent me her car seat, which I was able to be sure that it was safe. We did struggle with the car seat and the baby being in the car seat, so it may feel more difficult, but don't give up on it. It is one of those rules, like always hold my hand when you cross the street. That's how you keep your children safe. So buy a car seat. There's a lot of resources available. A simple search will give you videos and tips on how to keep babies in car seats. And the other thing to keep in mind when you're using a car seat is to buy one with a 5-point harness. That is always safest, because you have car seats that have 3-point harnesses where the belts go over the shoulders of the baby and plug into a locking system at the crotch of the baby. However, it's good to have a 5-point harness where you have belts going over the shoulder and around the waist, all 4 of which are then plugging into the car seat, into the buckle of the car seat. Dress baby in simple clothes, not too many layers, because you don't want the baby to overheat. And you can put the baby in simple clothes, put them into the car seat, and then snugly drape a light blanket over them if the car or the outdoors is too cold. Do not dress baby in too many layers. That will then make it difficult for you to layer down in case the baby is getting hot. So we'll keep moving on, but if there are any questions about car seat, please do send them in. A stroller, again, one of the most often bought things when it comes to baby stuff. Now, using a stroller is really dependent on where you live and what your general life is going to be like. A strollers can come in handy if you're living in mostly an urban space where you're moving by foot from place to place and the ground is even and you are in fact able to use the stroller. But unfortunately in India, we don't have continuous pavements. We don't have dedicated, roads where you can safely take the stroller down. At the end of the day, you may end up using your stroller only for walks up and down the road in front of your house. With a stroller, it's not a clear yes or a no. I would say wait. Don't buy it when you're pregnant. Wait till your baby is, here, and then you can consider buying a stroller. What you can buy when you're pregnant, however, is a baby carrier, because a baby carrier is something that you can use from day one. With baby carriers also, there are a lot of brands these days and a lot of different varieties available. It's very confusing. What's important to remember here, top tip, is buy an ergonomic baby carrier. And when possible, borrow first, experiment, see what you like, see what your baby likes, and then purchase. There are also baby wearing libraries in many cities. Some baby wearing libraries also courier their carriers across cities. So you can always just get in touch with us at the birth home and we'll be happy to recommend a baby wearing library or a baby wearing educator. Then you can safely learn how to wear baby. When you're pregnant, you finish all of your homework when you're pregnant and you don't leave any of this learning till when you have that cranky baby and you're trying to figure it out. Usually, you would start doing it with a stuffed toy or a pillow just to get the hang of it, and then you would move on to the baby. Baby carriers are so much more versatile and so they're life-saving in so many ways. You can use them for far longer than a stroller because, a 9-month-old or a 1-year-old may or may not want to stay in a stroller. Their view is kind of limited, their visibility is kind of limited. but with a baby carrier, either of the parents, grandparents, family members, other care providers like nannies can wear the baby also. And most carriers can be used from birth up to quite a few years. There are different varieties, and yeah, there are lots of resources available for baby carriers as well. Um, I want to move from the whole how to move around with baby to then the most important thing that we hopefully now are paying a lot more attention to, feeding the baby. So while it was a common routine to buy bottles and bottle warmers and have formula at hand, we are seeing that a lot more mothers are instead choosing to get informed about breastfeeding and prepare for breastfeeding rather than just assume naturally that you are going to feed formula. Now here I would say that of course we are not recommending that you buy bottles and pumps when you're pregnant, because for all you know you may be doing great with breastfeeding and not need any of it. But yes, if you do find difficulties, if you do face difficulties, if you have concerns, always talk to a lactation consultant first, and in advise with them decide on what pump to buy. And usually pumps are available, they are not difficult to find. So even if you need one, you can buy one the same day, or you can borrow one the same day. And there are a lot of people who are happy to lend or sell their pumps on various parenting forums as well. It's nice if you have a lactation consultant helping you out with which pump is best for you, rather than buying a pump in pregnancy and then realizing later that it's the wrong size or the wrong type. With pumps, of course, we know that they are manual and electric. While some mothers may not find it very difficult with manual pumps, it is very difficult to use it in the early days of postpartum. When you have a newborn and when your colostrum is just coming in, it's quite hard to use a manual pump to pump colostrum. There are other things that we can do. We recommend hand expression if there is a need to pump colostrum and feed the baby as a top up, or if the baby is in the NICU and you have to express. We do recommend hand expression when it comes to colostrum, because that is by far the most effective way. There's a lot of different kinds of pumps, even in electrical pumps. So not all pumps are the same. And like I said, you may not even end up needing a pump. So save yourselves the trouble. Don't buy a pump. You can, however, get adequate breastfeeding preparation classes when you're pregnant. The most important thing, if any of your friends or family members are pregnant, this could be a great gift for them. Don't give them baby stuff, give them breastfeeding preparation classes, birth preparation classes. That way you're empowering them to be confident enough to take care of their baby and not rely on 100 different paraphernalia. With breastfeeding preparation classes, you will of course be able to also discuss if you have any concerns, like if you need to go back to work a few months after your baby is born, what is the best way then to transition from being at home and then going back to work. You have a person available, a lactation expert available to handhold you through this. So make use of them. You don't have to go it alone. With pumps, the same logic would also apply to bottles and bottle warmers and bottle sterilizers. Buy them only and only when you absolutely need it. Of course, a mother who's going back to work will have to, rely on pumping and storing the milk, but there are also other options available. We always end up looking at, when the mother's not there, the alternative being either formula in a bottle or pump milk in a bottle. But cup feeding is a great option where you can pump the milk, store them in baggies, store them in hygienic containers. You don't have to buy extra paraphernalia. You can absolutely use safe containers that are available at home and just use, cups to feed the baby. And yes, it is possible to do that for really young babies also. You don't have to wait for the baby to be 6 months to, think of cup feeding. So pumps, bottles, sterilizers, bottle warmers all fall into the same category. Work with a lactation consultant. The next thing is a feeding pillow. This again, I would say talk to your lactation consultant, figure out what kind of feeding pillows are available and then buy one. Most women, including me, when I finally had my baby, I managed with a whole host of pillows. So I probably had like a big mountain of pillows all around me at any given point of time to change positions. I needed pillows to make sure my back is comfortable, to prop my hand so that I'm not, holding baby. We end up doing this a lot. We end up nesting baby in the crook of our arm, and then the arm is just hanging. You're going to give yourself a lot of issues in this area. Nursing mother's wrist is a very, very popular illness that we get, where the wrist becomes more susceptible because of the way we handle baby. I too had the synovitis in the wrist, and I had to wear a harness, and I had to retrain myself to please remember to take care of me first and then take care of the baby. If I'm trying to compensate, if the baby is cranky, if the baby is crying and I want to get to baby quickly, then I'm trying to compensate by me not being right next to the baby in speed and just making sure to get to baby and pick up baby in any which way possible. But even if it takes 10 more seconds, and that's all it will really take, even if it takes 10 more seconds, make sure you have a comfortable backrest and you have comfortable support under your hand before carrying baby. So a breastfeeding pillow does come in handy. There are a lot of people who do use it. This is also something that you can possibly borrow. So either borrow it from a friend, or again, there are a lot of women on online forums who are happy to either lend or sell their breastfeeding pillow. It can be washed, it can be hygienically sanitized, and you can use a fresh breastfeeding pillow cover to use it. You don't always have to rush out and buy every single thing. So far, everything that we've discussed is something you can borrow or you can buy pre-loved. It is not mandatory that you have to buy everything. So if you're looking at a budget, the budget is currently at 0 or a really, really low number. The next thing is toys. This is a very exciting topic because of course you want to buy every single toy out there for your baby. I had these grand plans when I was expecting to paint the entire room. I had designated a baby room in my house, and I wanted to paint the entire room with lovely colors and all sorts of fun things because I thought that's where baby would live. Little did I know that baby would be with me in my bed, and that is where I was most comfortable with it. We were co-sleeping, and baby couldn't care two bits about the color of his wall. I think I ended up stressing me and my family out a lot, going back and forth about how to paint the baby's room walls. But like I said, little did I know that would be so low on the priority list once the baby is here. But at the same time, you may find it nice for yourself. You may find it an emotional process to buy a few toys. Some tips would be to buy open-ended toys, not to buy toys that make a lot of electronic light or electronic sound, because that can be quite harsh for the newborn. You can buy soft things that don't have a lot of fur that can be easily washed. You can buy wooden toys that have safe rounded edges. There are some lovely knitted rattles, lovely wooden rattles that are safe, non-toxic materials for baby. This can actually come really in handy when you're trying to do tummy time. Now, what is tummy time? Tummy time is, again, not something any of us practice a lot in Indian households. It's basically giving baby the opportunity to be in a position that is different from being on your back all the time. It can feel very, very monotonous for baby to only be on their back, and they actually quite enjoy being on their tummies. Tummy time can be safely started right after birth, after the umbilical stump falls off. So you don't have to wait for 1 week or 1 month to start it. Typically, the umbilical stump may fall off anywhere from 7 to 11 days after birth. It's completely dry. There is no secretions there anymore, and the baby is not feeling uncomfortable. The clip of the umbilical cord is off. From then, you can start tummy time. You can put baby onto yourself first and then work up your way to having baby on the bed, but eventually move baby onto a firm, hard surface on the floor. It's not very nice for baby to be on a soft bed all the time because it actually doesn't give you a lot of tactile feedback. So baby won't be able to prop themselves up on a soft surface. It's like, you doing yoga on a yoga mat and you doing yoga on the bed. It's not the same process. So some toys, having some cloth toys, wooden toys may come in handy for tummy time. So you can always, indulge a little bit and buy some things here. There are also cloth books with lovely illustrations and colors. Most newborns may not like tummy time at the beginning. You can slowly work your way up to it. There's a great link to tummy time. Maybe we can link it in the comments later. I can drop that link there, and also a quick search will give you enough information about tummy time. I see a couple of questions. I think someone's asking how to safely sanitize things that we are borrowing from someone. So something that's made of cloth can always be washed. A good wash is all it needs, even in the current situation, even when we are dealing with this pandemic. If you give something a good wash in hot water and soap and put it out to the sun, done. You don't need disinfectants. You don't need to use Dettol, drops of Dettol into baby stuff, drops of Dettol into cleaning baby's clothes. None of this is really necessary. You can absolutely just give it a good old wash, put it in the sun. The sun is the world's best disinfectant. It gets rid of most stuff. If you're borrowing things like strollers and car seats, you can take a look at what components come off. So most things will have a cover that can easily be taken off and washed. There may be some parts that can't be taken off and washed. So you will have to use your discerning skills to figure out what condition they are in. If you're able to give them a good wash, and if you're able to, leave it out in the sun, then that takes care of it. And with a breastfeeding pillow, you can always give it a good wash, definitely, but also use a breastfeeding cover if you feel the need to. Most online websites now have breastfeeding pillows and breastfeeding pillow covers available. So that's something easily done. All right. I'm going to move on to a little bit about baby clothes, not spending too much time on baby clothes, because either some people are not really, they're not allowed to buy baby clothes when they're pregnant and they have to wait for the baby to be born. And we know that we can borrow baby clothes. So that's a really good thing, that it's a part of our culture to use, baby clothes that have already been used for another baby, which is again a great thing. This way you're not exposing baby to, new clothes that can be quite harsh sometimes. Of course, clothes that have been washed more often are softer. Pure cotton clothes, all the toxic colors, everything's gone out of them by now. There are a lot of organic cotton varieties available. They may be a little expensive, but I feel a great way would be to have a balance. Buy some of what you can afford and make some of what you can manage to. So most old cotton garments that are available at home can be repurposed to fit the newborn needs, like nappies and burp cloths and sleep cloths. You don't have to buy every single one of them. If you don't have an older relative, your mother or your grandmother, who has cotton saris, we almost always have cotton bed sheets at home. So use those. They're completely fine. You don't have to only use cotton saris, and you don't have to, look far and wide to find cotton saris or someone to donate cotton saris to you. I have even repurposed old cotton curtains to, put down as a mat on a chatai, or what do we call it? Just your floor mat, the typical Indian floor mat, or the chape in Canada. So I have repurposed old cotton curtains to go on there. We also practiced a lot of diaper-free time, so that was great for us. So even if there was a pee or a poo incident, I could just easily take that off and give that a good wash. Rather than go with something that is thick and manufactured, which has a lot of filling, then you're constantly worried about an accident. So just layers. Even when it comes to the baby, go with layers. Even when it comes to things that you're using under the baby, just go with layers. Things can easily be taken off. Of course, everyone knows about quick dries. A great thing to do for a baby bed is to just take a quick dry, layer it with a couple of cotton material, and you're good to go. You absolutely don't have to buy baby beds. I think if there is one thing that I will strongly advise everyone to skip, it is a baby bed. You have all varieties of baby beds, things that are covered in what looks like for velvet or some fur, and it has thick polyfill inside it. These baby beds are very hot. Baby is usually uncomfortable. The mosquito net is rarely used. And once baby starts moving its hands and arms, they won't want to stay in those baby beds. I think those were absolutely one of the things that we didn't end up using, even though we had it. We were given one by the hospital that we gave birth in, and that was such a pointless item to have, and we just ended up, stuffing it in the attic and not looking at it ever again. For sleeping arrangements, what I would suggest again is use simple cotton bed sheets. You can definitely fold them down so that it's a little thicker and lay them down on your bed. Baby doesn't need anything with, any kind of an edge or anything to keep them from rolling, because baby is going to be very likely in bed with you if you're choosing co-sleeping. I think talking about co-sleeping could be a whole other conversation. So I won't get into too much detail there, but that is something definitely to research and read up. And again, here, there are people to help you out with this, so you don't have to do it all alone. There are some great childbirth educators all over the country, and we are always happy to, refer people to you if you're not in Bangalore. And if you're in Bangalore, of course, feel free to talk to us. This is something we can help with. Co-sleeping goes so much further beyond just where baby is sleeping. It can be a great tool of attachment parenting. It can be a really convenient solution to having baby right next to you for all of those late night feedings. So you don't have to get out of bed and go to a different room or go to a different bed to where baby is. Um, I think in terms of what to buy and what to skip and what you can borrow, this is really it. The list is kind of short because babies don't need much. And whatever you feel that you're going to need at some point, just wait for the baby to be born and then you can go out and buy it. All right, I'm going to turn up the volume here a little bit. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Do you want to?
Your experience is kind of, just oozing out, and you have such great ideas for a new mom. I'm sure it's, valuable inputs. Anything else that you would like to add? Or,
I think I would always finish with saying find a childbirth educator, find a breastfeeding educator, and get that preparation in when you're pregnant. You don't have to go at it alone. That's really what it
yeah.
comes down to. Even though this is a very light and fun topic of what to buy for the baby, ultimately the choices that we make for the baby have an impact far beyond just the purchase of an item. Every single thing that we discussed today, it really has roots in far more serious topics like baby safety, sleeping safety, breastfeeding preparation, even the whole ecological perspective and being more sustainable, which I think is something that we absolutely need to commit to, because unfortunately the biggest carbon footprint comes from having a baby. It is one of those events in life that leave the biggest carbon footprint. And there are people who may decide not to have a baby also because they don't want to leave a big carbon footprint. Now, while you already have your baby, just make sure that you're trying to make smart choices, which doesn't severely inconvenience you. At the same time, it's not just mass buying and bulk shopping that you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very important. Thank you, Meghana. I mean, so nice to have you with us. And I'm sure a lot of new mothers and, women who are pregnant and waiting for their babies will find all these very valuable. All the inputs were amazing. And especially the baby carriers for me was a lifesaver. I think it made any working woman and, people who also do a lot of work at home kind of have their hands free, and the baby is cuddling with the mother and the skin to skin is happening. So that one, and the second one, to avoid the baby beds. I think that's something most of us don't realize, and we end up investing a lot on that, and then after that 1 year it's of no use.
Yes.
And and the co-sleeping part too, I think that was a great input. Great, Meghana. So I think we will have. I hope we have you again, and we talk more, because the dimensions to a woman giving birth are many. It's just not one, and there's so many dimensions to this subject, and the birth home and the experience that the birth home has. I hope can be shared, and the awareness can be brought to so many other women who still may not have the access to this information. So thank you so much for joining us. It was really wonderful, and hope to see you very soon again.
I would love to.
Anything you would like to add? Yeah, anything you would like to add for the team at Thea, or anything, please feel free.
Wow, I think the first thing that I think of when I think of Thea is colors, and directly drawing inspiration from that for our topic today. It would be so good to just see a lot more handmade things that you have around the home. Like, I remember one of the most favorite toys that my son had when he was a baby was something that my mother made for him, which was just a collection of different items that were already at home. We made little butterflies from old cotton material, and we hung up a lot of these on strings. So I think if we can bring a little bit of the color from all of Thea's lovely collections into the world of your newborn, nothing like it. It must be pretty boring to be a newborn and to always just see like the ceiling and the fan, right? So get moving, wear them in a carrier, get tummy time, and just add a little color and joy to your life wherever possible.
Such a lovely input, Meghna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was so much fun doing this. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for joining. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.